So I bought the Xbox Series X back in 2021. Since then, I have sold it, upgraded my PS5 to the Pro, and now I have an Xbox Series S. And I kind of want to take a second to talk about my journey and my thoughts and put everything all in one video because Xbox is changing and I kind of want to just kind of record my opinions on things to kind of see how they hold up over the next several years as Xbox approaches this more multi-platform approach. Now, there are heavy rumors of Xbox allowing storefronts like Steam on their next console. This is heavily supported by their ROG Ally X, their partnership for the handheld that actually showed Steam running on the platform, which isn't a huge surprise because that is technically a Windows machine, but it was heavily using an Xbox UI. So I think that if they put that on the next console, we could see a situation where, well, yeah, there's Steam games coming to Xbox, which also means PlayStation games coming to Xbox. Furthermore, we have PlayStation posting listings for jobs that directly say they want to bring their games over to other storefronts like Steam, Xbox, Nintendo, etc. Now, I still think the Xbox Series X is a huge powerhouse. I think 12 teraflops of GPU makes games like Forza Horizon 5 look amazing. Game Pass, giving us hundreds of games at one monthly cost, is still a great value. But we have, a weird changing of the tide here. And I kind of want to talk about why I decided to just kind of stick with the Series S for now. Now, for those that don't know, I am a huge PlayStation collector and Nintendo collector, as you can see behind me. I love physical media, so it is a little weird to say that I kind of prefer having the Series S over the Series X, at least at the moment. I don't really have a large collection of physical games for Xbox. I have more now than I probably ever have had before because I recently came into an original Xbox. I have a couple of Xbox 360s. So the catalog is building up, but nothing that I can't play if I, don't have a Series X specifically. Though I will admit that the backwards compatibility support is amazing, and as a PlayStation gamer, 100% do, kind of wish the PlayStation had the same functionality for sure. But with that said, the Series S still packs a punch. I think a lot of games look great. At this point, I'm using the Series S more as a Game Pass machine, as I think it was originally intended. There are also a lot of backwards compatible games digitally you can purchase. Call of Duty games, Grand Theft Auto 4 as an example. Sonic Unleashed is also another good one. That's actually a childhood favorite of mine. And I think the Series S gets a lot more flack online than it deserves, especially from developers who honestly are just more lazy than anything to kind of, make sure their games run properly on the Series S. I personally really love its compact size, the ease of use. It's really plug and play. It's easy to move around the house, take on the go. I actually have this nifty little carry bag I got for it. It fits perfectly, one console, the cables, and a controller in this pocket. It was like 20 bucks at Walmart. This was really cool. But with that said, I don't really want to discredit and put Xbox down into their lowest common denominator because I do think they have some crazy things happening on the horizon. I 100% agree that we are straying further away now more than ever from exclusivity, at least in the traditional sense. I think that consoles are going to try to sell you on their specific feature set and powerhouse and stuff like that versus their exclusive games. Other than Nintendo, which probably will be the last traditional console, if you could even say that, considering it's a hybrid between a handheld and that. So, kind of an interesting situation there. And I do think that PlayStation will stick to a exclusive enough mentality. I'm sure games will release first on their platform and then come down later a year or two from the original launch, which will again give some merit to owning a PlayStation because as they've said to investors, the PlayStation still is kind of their bread and butter for their business. While they are making tons of money with subscriptions from PlayStation Plus and their a la carte sales, their games really do kind of need that initial bump. They can't survive on a subscription platform. They need the exclusivity enough, again, for their games and their console to kind of thrive within the same ecosystem. But nonetheless, I really see that there will be in the next generation or two a console that kind of plays everything or mostly everything, which is kind of what we've had all along with the PC, but we just needed it in a user-friendly package. And I really think that's where Xbox is coming into place. Now, I will admit, as a Sony and Nintendo fanboy, if that's what you want to call me, that future does get me excited. I think it would be really cool to have a single console, as I'm not really a PC guy. I use mostly Apple devices for everything. I want a user-friendly machine that does the one job of just playing games with no huss or fuss, and I can get home from a long day at work or dealing with kids and just sit down and play. If Xbox can give me that, plus the subscription model that I do see a lot of value in, it sucks that that forces a digital future on us, but that's a whole different conversation. If anybody wants to talk about that in the comments a little bit, I might make a standalone video on it. But needless to say, Game Pass is a good value. And if they can also give me the flexibility of Steam, which comes with some PlayStation titles, I still haven't played Spider-Man 2. Shockingly. So that is something that would be kind of crazy to get my first playthrough on an Xbox console, if that is the future that we're looking at. I will admit that I would miss trophies and stuff, but it sounds like Sony might have a workaround with that, as you kind of have to link your Sony account with your game, so I'm sure that would have to work out somehow. Kind of the same way I have to log into Battle.net to sign in to Diablo on my PlayStation 5. I assume it would work similar to that, and Sony would keep all of your records on their servers that you could access on their website or your PlayStation console. With all of that said, I will admit that I'm really hesitant to just jump in. I don't want to get my Series X back and start buying my games there knowing that they might be on this all-in-one device in the future, because largely what Xbox is doing still has to be proven successful. The reason this works so well on PC is because so many developers can just kind of make a base run of the game and scale it up or down based on different builds. Obviously, PCs are a lot more flexible, so users get to kind of tinker with things themselves. It's not really the same case on a console. Things have to be more tightly developed and have to work on a specific set of hardware or target hardware, which again, if we have handhelds, the home console, potentially higher end consoles from other companies, there's rumors of Xbox partnering with other companies to make their own consoles. So really Xbox becomes more of a UI than it does a device. Kind of similar to Windows, how you can buy a PC from Dell or Lenovo, but it's still running Windows. I see Xbox as maybe trying to push in that direction because it is successful in that regard. But again, that might be a little challenging to do in a home console because games for a system have to be designed and optimized for that specific hardware. And I don't know if the Series S is a sign of that future, but developers already don't really want to put in that much effort. Now, maybe that's because the Series S or Xbox in general is low performing when it comes to sales and realistically how many copies of a game a developer or publisher expects to sell, which could influence how much effort they want to put into that copy of the game. But either way, it all remains to be seen. So as of right now, I am very happy with my PlayStation 5 Pro as my go-to console, mainly because it plays everything the best for the most part outside of buying a PC. I have my Xbox Series S, which is there for games that let me kind of try them out, and I can decide then and there if the performance or quality is good enough, then I'll just play it happily on the Series S, and if it's not, I can decide if the game itself is something I might enjoy, and maybe just buy it on my PS5 Pro, because most games coming to Xbox are either being published on PlayStation or they're multi-platform releases that Xbox is partnering with to get on the Game Pass service, which means they're available on PlayStation. Other than that, I also have my Switch 2 for those Nintendo exclusives because, like I said, they're probably going to be the holdouts in whatever future we're about to look at. I am curious, though, what your thoughts are. I appreciate you clicking on this video, dropping a like, subscribing. All of that helps me out. Again, I'm a father. I'm a truck driver. I barely get time to do these kind of videos, so any support is much appreciated. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next one.